Scarborough, temperatures in the 20s. Reed Eisenhower up in Texarkana was 25 at about 1 o'clock. Bob Fentress in Bellevue had sleet on the ground, not any measurements, but, probably close to an inch, I suspect. Half inch for Wayne Hatfield in the Homer area with a temperature of 26. And quite a few reports. June Jones, Elysian Fields, 1 inch on the ground there. Kayberry and Stonewall, about an inch. Carl Webb and Stonewall there in the upper 20s with 1 inch. 1 inch for Gary Battlefield in the Elm Grove area, about 3/4 of an inch for Leslie Smith and Martin. Temperature at the time was in the 20s. Ronnie Vale in the Ruston area, top honors, over 2 inches for him, and a temperature of 26 degrees. You got Ricky Cash over in the Logansport area earlier today, had a temperature of 31. Metro area got a few reports. Ronnie Hull in Shreveport, 3/4 of an inch on the ground. Mark Potter in Bossier City, it looked like he had about an inch from the pictures he sent. 29 out his way. Gary Stratton and Blanchard there, 3/4 of an inch of sleet and ice on the ground, and a half inch for Bob Britton up in Sarepta. Weather watchers, thank you for those reports. Just be careful getting the measurements. I know Kay Berry and Stonewall trying to get outside the measure, just not so good for her. It's real slick on the stairs there. So thank you for that information. All right, let's get you updated on the weather part here. Winter storm warning, I-30 corridor until 6 p.m. on your Sunday, and the ice storm warning goes until 6 p.m. on your Sunday, covering the remainder of the Arklatex, including Toledo Bend, Shreveport, Bossier, you name it. Cold alerts after the storm moves out, as Patrick was talking about. Then it's the cold time, and we're looking at Sunday evening through Tuesday morning. We do have the extreme cold warning, as now that we've got an ice pack and snow pack on the ground, very cold weather with the Arctic air in place expected. All right, precipitation-wise, so you can see it's kind of letting up a little bit here as one wave is passing by where you had the lift and the dynamics, and then there's a little bit more sinking air, but you're starting to see more precipitation develop behind this first wave. And that's kind of how it usually reacts there. This is our Willis Knighton Mega 3 Doppler radar. Thank you, Willis Knighton, for this wonderful radar here, and we've got it going. Northern sections, you're getting a bit of a break right now. I-30 corridor and Highway 82 there, no major problems. A little farther south, though, Shreveport Bossier getting one little wave coming through, filling in pretty good with a mixture of sleet and freezing rain. Not terribly heavy, but you can see the precipitation kind of filling back in there, even up toward the radar site in Mooringsport. And just more to come there. And down Toledo Bend Way, not too much, but you can see a little bit trying to redevelop out to the west, and that will be the general trend as the main event starts working a little bit closer to our area for tonight. Temperature 19 at Texarkana, 17 in Hope, 20s there at Mount Pleasant, and these are the automated sites, the little airports and what have you across the Arklatex. So I'll get back out of the way a little bit. You can see Magnolia there in the lower 20s, El Dorado also there, well below freezing. A little farther south, though, 30 in Shreveport. 32 is freezing, but the ground a little bit warmer where you have a temperature 4 feet off the ground near 30 today with the sunlight going on, or not sunlight, but I mean the daylight hours. It's warmed up the ground a little bit to make it slushy. 33 in Hemphill, 31 in Manning, got 33 in Natchitoches, and 32 in Center, Texas. Again, these are the automated weather stations. Power outages, not too many, but as Daniel Brown was telling you in southeast Shreveport, you had a power out in part of that area near the LSU campus. You can see the green colors indicating power outages getting up there, near 1,000 or so. The blue colors indicate the less power outages, but certainly a problem, especially with the glazing that we've had in some parts of the area, and a little bit of wind pushing that heavier wire around can cause it to break. And the wind will be with us here off and on, breezy conditions for the next 24 or so hours. Chance of miserable precipitation is near certain that you're going to get some more here later on this afternoon, and you're getting it right now. Near certain for tonight, and that's the main event, the storm system, parent storm system passing through. And then tomorrow, I think it's just mainly for the morning that you'll get it, and then the rest of the day, the clouds will try to break up behind that system because it's a strong system, so it'll have strong dynamical lift ahead of it, but behind it, you'll have quite a bit of sinking air, which will take care of some of the cloudiness. We may actually see some sunshine tomorrow afternoon that could break up some of the more traveled roads, but again, a big refreeze as we head toward tomorrow night. All right, freezing rain, future freezing rain, probably another close to an inch in a few areas. That could be quite dangerous there, the southern half of the area. And then the sleet, and this will vary across all the area, but some folks may see another inch or close to it with the main event coming through. But for the snow, probably more in the northern part of the area, although we could catch a little bit on the backside of the system as the whole atmosphere cools once the main event or the main storm rolls through. That storm is just moving into Mexico now. You can see that spinning there where it's coming our way. And you can start to see little areas popping up in the brighter colors across southwest Texas. That's the dynamic lift ahead of that system. And that's where the action starts to begin. The last wave, you can see the bright green colors over Louisiana, Mississippi starting to slip onto the east. And that's why we're getting a little bit of a break. You got the lift where you got the bright colors, and you got the sinking air where it's darker. And that's typical with these weather systems, lifting on the east side and sinking on the back side. But yeah, we still got, that's the main weekend storm coming our way. All right, here's the satellite radar. So you see the frozen precipitation in our area. Snow more back in the Texas Panhandle and Oklahoma. It's a mess trying to travel anywhere across. Now here's that warm front trying to work up across our area, and that's why we're having it kind of shift back and forth from sleet to freezing rain, because that boundary right there is way to our south, but the warm front extends for hundreds of miles, and you're looking at effects of that helping to make freezing rain in our area, and the actual surface part of the boundaries along the coast. So that's kind of how that works. Temperature-wise, 20 in Dallas, 9 in Oak City, nearly 40 in Houston, and Jackson's starting to cool down a little bit, and it's a slippery drive up toward Little Rock, 15, Memphis, 17 there. All right, here's Precision Cast. So this 5 o'clock, and then you see the precip with the main event coming through for tonight. Covers all our area, dark purples. These are forecast temperatures. Then all that business leaves for Sunday morning, and then clouds may stick around as we go through the day. You might get a few breaks here and there, temperatures in the 20s, and then you see some clearing there amongst the clouds, and it gets really cold as we head toward Monday morning, and then perhaps warms up a little bit with a mix of sun and clouds. We'll probably see clouds, the low clouds develop once you have evaporation and melting of that moisture there on Monday afternoon. But then whatever's still left on the ground, refreezing there and getting really cold as we head toward Tuesday morning. And then finally, we start seeing that business break up. A little closer to home, we start seeing more of the precipitation gathering across the area, especially for tonight. You see the darker colors indicating the potential for heavier precip, sleet, and freezing rain. And this is tomorrow morning. Then we start seeing the breaks. The snow, mainly I-30 corridor, and these, again, are forecast temperatures. Then all that business pulling out of here as we head into the lunch hour. And then we could have a few breaks in the clouds here and there and perhaps a snow flurry, but the major precipitation's moved on. As we get into your Sunday night, then the dry air working in. The computer model shows temperatures dropping below zero up in where the snowpack is the heaviest, and that's possible. And that's not out of the ordinary, out of the realm of possibility for those folks. Elsewhere, probably the single digits. Then we get into the afternoon, we're warming up into the 20s to near freezing. And then we get into early Tuesday morning. Might have a few more clouds around, but it does show, and that may be a little too much, -10 here and there, but probably single digits to near zero across the area, especially north of I-20 at that time. Rest of today, just stay in the 20s to near 30 degrees or near freezing, and more rounds of the sleet and freezing rain. Teens and 20s, I-30 corridor, Highway 82, and then south I-20 toward Toledo Bend, 20s to the 30s for the afternoon. Tonight, teens to 20s, more of that mess coming our way. Here's the lows, mid-teens up north and near 20 down south. So you're flirting with the freezing mark right now. You'll be getting colder tonight. And then tomorrow, it's mainly the morning, and then we'll see temperatures jumping up there a little bit in the afternoon. Probably near freezing, and whatever does become slush or just water, it'll refreeze tomorrow night. So just got to deal with all that through about Tuesday morning. Here's that extended forecast. Good chance of measurable precip the rest of today, tonight, and then tomorrow morning. And then we break out of this. Nice weather for Tuesday. I think a lot of folks May have to wait till Wednesday to get back to school, how the school districts do it. But by Wednesday, I think we'll be fine. There are indications, as Chief Meteorologist Patrick Dennis was saying, that we could have another round late in the week. That's still up in the air. We'll continue to monitor that. But right now, we just got to get through this storm. Anyway, that's it for now. We'll see you back at the top of the hour with more information on the latest winter storm.